Hello, my name is Asha, and this is Asha's Movies and TV. Today, we're doing a bit of a different video, not review today. I didn't watch the film last night because I was a bit too tired to watch the film last night, so there will be a review tomorrow, obviously. I might also be going to the cinema tomorrow to watch Scream 7, so stay tuned for that. We are going to be ranking the all 11 Fast and Furious films because we're going to be doing a review at some point on the channel, probably towards the end of the year, because I know there's a new one coming out next year. I think it might have been pushed back actually, unless that's not from a reliable source. If you don't know any movie news, obviously, go and check out my Discord. I put movie news basically on there once a week. And yeah, I try and update that weekly. We're ranking the Fast and Furious films, so we're going from worst to best. And the worst one in the series for me. So there's 11 films, and there's Fast 1 to 10, and then there's an extra Hobbs and Shaw, which is a Fast and Furious saga, story. Let's get to it. So the worst one for me is Fast and Furious 9. So this one adds John Cena into the Fast and Furious world. Obviously, Ludacris is still in this. Jordana Brewster, I think, rejoins the cast in this film. Can't remember what his name is, but we've also got Tyrese Gibson and Vin Diesel. Obviously, we're missing one of the iconic characters of the series, which is Paul Walker. This is actually the second film without Paul Walker in this series now, because obviously he passed at the end of 7. So this is why I don't think this. If Paul Walker was a part of this film, I don't think they should have brought Jordana Brewster back, because obviously in this film series, obviously she's his wife or girlfriend or whatever, mother of his children, and they kind of like separated. And I think that was a nice ending for him. Obviously, I do think they should have not carried on the series without him, but even if I don't think they should have brought Jordana Brewster back, in my personal opinion. But yeah, this obviously is not a great film. I'll be honest. I found this at a charity shop, I think, about 2 years ago now. And the first time I watched this, it was a bit of a disappointment, I'm going to be honest. I did like it, obviously, because I liked all the action and stuff, but it just wasn't as good as I thought it should have been. So yeah, that is Fast and Furious 9 at 11th place. Then coincidentally, at number 10, I have Fast 10. So this actually wasn't too bad. It was better than I expected, because obviously since the last one, the one I watched, which was Fast and Furious 9, my expectation was quite low. But the thing I didn't really like about this film, to be honest, was I think Jason Momoa did play a good character, but I just don't think the character he was playing was right for him. Obviously we have all of the cast back. We've also got some additions to the cast in this. We've got the what's her name? Oh man. Carol Danvers. No, not Danvers. She plays Captain Marvel. I can't remember her name. Brie Larson. Brie Larson's obviously a good addition to this. Jason Statham joins the film. There's no Rock in this film, sadly. John Cena's back in this film. Alan Richardson, who plays a bad guy in this film. Gal Gadot's back in this film as well, I believe. If that's Gal Gadot, I think. Ludacris is still in this film. Jordana Brewster's back in this film. And yeah, it's quite a yeah. This one has quite a exciting ending at the end of this as well, which is quite good to see. And it does have Dolby audio, so when I watched this, it was in really good audio. And yeah, I picked it up for quite cheap online actually. It was about a year after the film came out, I think. I think this came out in 2023, and I only picked it up for £3 online, and it was brand new. I think I paid for it brand new. So it wasn't a bad price either, so I didn't mind buying that for that price, especially because I did enjoy the Fast and Furious films, obviously. First time I watched it was about 3 years ago, when I started my physical media journey. Obviously, I wasn't vlogging it at that point, but I do enjoy, obviously, media and films altogether, so that's probably... This is one of my favourite parts of the collection. Other than my Marvel and DC, this might be my favourite part of the collection. And my, obviously, Disney, because that's one. I think that it might be the biggest part of my collection currently, as you can see in the corner there. That's just all Disney. We'll go over that in a different video, but yeah. So that is in 10th place, Fast X. At number 9, then I've got a Fast and Furious 8, or Fate and the Furious, which is the title for sometimes. Obviously, you can see I've got this really nice slipcover with the glossy texture on. If I can try and get it out for you, it's the same kind of slipcover underneath as well. This one actually has quite the cast. Jordana Brewster's not back in this. Han, the guy that plays Han, is not back in this. We've just got Vin Diesel, Jason Statham, Dwayne Johnson, Ludacris, Tyrese Gibson, and Michelle something. I can't remember her last name. Michelle, but she is obviously. I really enjoyed this. I actually quite enjoyed this film. A few of my friends have been saying that they think the 9 is better than the 8, but I totally disagree with them. I've also heard a lot of people say online they prefer the 9 over the 8, but I think that's just completely wrong, because obviously I actually quite enjoyed this film a lot more than the other one. So yeah, at number 9 then I've got Fast and Furious 8, or Fate and the Furious in America. I think that's what it's called. Number 8 then, I've got Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. So I've watched this probably about 4 times. More times than I watched any of the other Fast and Furious films, which obviously because it was available on Netflix at the time. So I've probably watched it about 4 times. It's got a good cast: Idris Elba, Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, popularly known for obviously acting in very action-packed movies and stuff. But I actually did enjoy Vanessa Kirby's character in this as well. She did a really great job in this, I thought. Obviously, I haven't seen her in many films. I think this one, Fantastic Four, and maybe one other film I've seen her in. But she's a really good actress, and I do enjoy her work as well. And the thing I just didn't enjoy about this film is that it was just so disconnected from the rest of the Fast and Furious worlds that it just felt kind of just a bit, it was just not needed for me, really. And it wasn't really needed for the universe either, to be honest. But it was obviously, I thought it was a great film. I thought it was quite a decent film. Loads of great action scenes. Idris Elba did a really good job as the bad guy in this, I think. I liked that they went to different places, London, and we had some good British actors in there, because you finally get to see some British actors in the Fast and Furious films with Helen Mirren, Vanessa Kirby, I think. Is she British? No, I don't think she is, actually. That might just be me talking. But Idris Elba is. So I did enjoy this film. Yeah, it was better than the other 3 on this list so far, and it might have been better than another film, to be honest. But that's it. That's number 8. Then we've got Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw. At number 7, then I have Fast and Furious 6. So yes, Paul Walker's back in this one. We've got Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Dwayne Johnson. I believe this is the first one with Dwayne Johnson in. It was quite a good action movie, obviously, for the time. But it was a really good movie. I thought it was, good, action-packed, great cast. Jordana this is kind of like the leading up to, obviously, Paul Walker's death in the next film. Well, he doesn't actually die in the film, obviously, but obviously he's sadly passing in the so this was like this was the last film we had with the full Paul Walker energy. But it was a really good film. I thought it was quite good. The action scenes were good as well, and then this felt like it was more Fast and Furious than the films I've previously mentioned, because these were not really Fast and Furious films. Fast and Furious is about cars, and then at this point it probably turns more spy than cars, if I'm honest. I didn't enjoy the fact, though, that we had they went to London. I enjoyed that, and then but that's at number 7 then. And then we've got, next we have another one I thought was quite good, but I didn't have too many good ratings, to be honest. Is Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. So this was this was one of my favourites as a child. Well, when I was younger. Oh, I'm missing a few discs for this. I'm gonna have to rebuy this, and right, put that on the list so I can have to rebuy. But obviously I have the case, so let me just give me a second. So let's put that on the list now. But this is quite, it is quite a good action movie. I enjoyed the can't remember his name, to be honest, but yeah, I thought it was quite good, actually. There was good action scenes in there. There was a good storyline. It was more to do with racing than most of the other films I've mentioned previously. So yeah, it was quite a good film, and I quite enjoyed it. And yeah, that's Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift at number 6. So about halfway through now, we're at number 5, which is Fast and Furious, or Fast and Furious 4, because I had the box set and I had all 4, and then obviously I repurchased the other ones because they weren't in a great condition, to be honest. I do need to replace this case, I think, because it's quite screwed up. But obviously we have Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Michelle Rodriguez, and Jordana Brewster in this. Yeah, it is a good film. I'm not going to lie, it is a good film, but it's not as good as the other ones I've mentioned, obviously, but this is still a good film, and I do enjoy it to this day. Yeah, you know, there's obviously some flaws in it, and I don't like the fact that it's named Fast and Furious again, because it should be called Fast 4 or Fast and Furious Even Faster or something like that. I didn't like the title, to be honest, and yeah, that's kind of what put me off the movie a bit more. But it was a good film, good action, and yeah, good storyline as well. Fast and Furious 5. So, now this film is one of the best in the series. I really enjoyed this. Great action sequences. We got obviously Paul Walker, Vin Diesel, and Dwayne Johnson in this. Paul Walker's and Vin Diesel has been in every single one of these films apart from Hobbs and Shaw. Actually, I think he made a cameo at the end of that film. But I really enjoyed the cast of this film as well. Yeah, it was a really great storyline overall, and I thought that, you know, we could obviously there was parts that were missing, and then, you know, the parts could have been a bit better. But this was quite a good film, and I enjoyed the film overall, and yeah, it was a really good film. I'm gonna admit that it was a good film, and there was loads of good action sequences, and yeah, that is at number 4. Then at number 3 we have, cutting in close, we got Too Fast, Too Furious. So this is my top 3 Fast and Furious films of all time now. We've got Too Fast, Too Furious, starring Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson and Eva Mendes. Yeah, this was at the time when the first time I watched it, I didn't like it, and then I've obviously done a few rewatches since, and I actually quite enjoy this. It's quite one of my, it's again obviously in my top 3, so it's got to be pretty good. Yeah, and I thought it was quite a good. There's loads of good action sequences. It's more to do with cars. This one is, which I did enjoy. Obviously, there's a nice bit of like a bit of crime in there, and that's kind of what like this is overall about. And yeah, this is how like Paul Walker's character is like struggles to get back to civilian life after obviously being a cop and then an FBI agent. So if you haven't watched that, I would definitely recommend you give that a watch. Obviously watch the first one first and then watch that one. And then the next one then on the list, at number 2 spot we have The Fast and the Furious, which is the first film in the series. So this is obviously, I got the widescreen edition, which is good. I picked this up off Vinted, I think. I obviously had it before, but I just replaced it. So yeah, it's a great film. I can't admit it's probably a 4.5-star film for me, to be honest. I know it does get a bit of hate. Fast and Furious nowadays does get quite a bit of hate, but you can't really beat the original Fast and Furious film, to be honest. It was just such a good film, and I really loved the cast. Obviously, Jordana Brewster, Michelle Rodriguez, Vin Diesel, and Paul Walker, the original ones. You know, the ones you want to see in the film. And yeah, even for the time I think it was made, it was good camera work, good, you know, angles, and good director and everything and that. Yeah, Universal did a great job with this film. And then at first place then we have Fast and Furious 7. This one obviously holds a very sentimental value to me. It's in my top 10 movies of all time, so it's got to be in number 1 for my top ranking Fast and Furious, best to worst, worst to best. Sorry. Yeah, it's got a stacked cast with Jordana Brewster, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Michelle Rodriguez, The Rock, and a few other great actors and actresses in there as well. But this was it was a really fun film, and I really enjoyed the ending where you get a send off to Paul Walker, obviously because he died in the making of this film towards the end. And they had his brother come back and do his final scene for him, which was, you know, it was quite emotional, and it was a good way to end the film, and thought it should have been the end of the series, to be honest, because they already made 7 films, so I don't think they needed any more after this. But yeah, that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. So that is my ranking of all the Fast and Furious films, worst to best, and feel free to tell me your opinions in the comments if you think 9 wasn't the worst, or 7 wasn't the best, or whatever. Just feel free to tell me in the comments, and that's it for today. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.